Welcome to our chilling haunted walking tour of downtown Kansas City, Missouri, where history meets the supernatural. Across the country, towns hide places steeped in ghostly lore and paranormal intrigue. In this video, we will explore 4 of Kansas City's most haunted spots. However, there's a twist. Only 3 of these locations are genuinely haunted. The 4th is a tale crafted by us at Wandering Walks of Wonder. As you join us on this journey, your challenge is to figure out which 3 locations harbor real hauntings and which one is our creation. Stick around until the end of the video where we will reveal which of downtown Kansas City's haunted locations is pure fiction. Today's journey takes us to 4 locations in downtown Kansas City: the Folly Theater, the Midland Theatre, the Kansas City Public Library, and the Kansas City Club. So, if you dare, let's explore the chilling tales behind downtown Kansas City's most haunted places. Our first stop takes us to the Folly Theater. Built in 1900, it's located in the heart of downtown Kansas City and has a long history, including its role as a vaudeville venue, burlesque house, and eventually a theater for concerts and performances. Given its age and history, it's no surprise that tales of the paranormal have been associated with this theater. The first and most well-known ghost of the Folly is the Gray Lady. Legend says she was a performer, perhaps even a burlesque dancer, from the early 20th century when the theater hosted vaudeville and burlesque shows. Some versions of the story say that she died tragically, while others hint at a love affair gone wrong. The Gray Lady is often seen in the balcony or wandering the hallways during rehearsals or late at night after performances. Many people have reported feeling an eerie presence or a sudden cold chill when walking through the theater, especially in the upper sections of the building. Some have even seen her full apparition, describing her as wearing a gray dress with a calm but yet mournful demeanor. It's said that she quietly watches over the theater, perhaps eternally connected to the place where she once performed. Another well-known spirit said to haunt the Folly is that of a stagehand who reportedly died in a tragic accident. According to legend, this man fell from the catwalk high above the stage, dying instantly. His spirit is believed to remain in the theater, still lurking behind the scenes. People have reported hearing footsteps in the rafters and seeing lights flicker or move on their own. Some performers and technical staff claim to feel an unexplained presence when they're backstage, particularly near the stage or the catwalks. And then we have those mysterious lights and sounds often heard inside the Folly Theater. Staff and visitors have experienced various other eerie phenomena in the theater. Lights reportedly turn off and on by themselves, especially late at night when the building seems to be otherwise empty. Unexplained noises like footsteps, whispers, even distant laughter have often been heard, leading many to believe that multiple spirits may be inside the theater. In one chilling incident, a technician working late alone in the theater claimed to have seen a figure standing on the stage, but the figure vanished as soon as he turned his spotlight toward it. This experience led that technician to believe that the theater is truly haunted. The Midland Theatre in downtown Kansas City is another historic venue with a reputation for being haunted. Opened in 1927, this grand, ornate theater has hosted countless performances over the decades, and like many old theaters, it has its share of eerie legends and ghost stories. One of the most persistently ghostly tales at the Midland involves the figure of a phantom usher. According to staff and visitors, this spirit appears as a man dressed in the uniform of an old-fashioned usher, complete with a cap and red jacket. He is often seen patrolling the aisles and the lobby of the theater as though still doing his job. Witnesses claim that the usher disappears when approached or vanishes into thin air, but he never seems malevolent, just going quietly about his duties in the afterlife. Several visitors and employees have reported seeing shadowy figures in the balcony of the theater, particularly in those upper levels of the theater. These figures are often seen out of the corner of the eye and vanish when directly looked at. Some say the shadows are always present during rehearsals or when the theater is otherwise quiet, as though they are watching performances that never end. Those who work in the theater sometimes avoid the upper balcony after dark, as it's known for an oppressive, uneasy feeling, with some claiming the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. The most famous ghost story from the Midland involves a woman in white who is often seen near the main staircase or on the mezzanine level. Described as a pale, spectral figure in a flowing white gown, she is said to glide silently through the halls and stairwells. Some say she was a socialite who frequented the theater in the early days, while others believe she may have once been a performer. This ghostly woman has been seen by multiple people over the years, and though she doesn't interact with anyone, her sudden appearances can be quite startling. Many believe she's attached to the theater, unable to leave the place where she spent so much of her life. Stop number 3 takes us to the downtown Kansas City Public Library. This public library is housed in the former First National Bank building, which dates back to 1906. As with many historic buildings, the library has its share of ghost stories and eerie encounters, fueled by the fact that the building was once a bank and saw a variety of people coming through its doors during its long history. Some of those stories include shadowy figures in the building. Several staff members and visitors have reported seeing a shadowy figure in the library, particularly in the upper levels. This dark, human-shaped shadow has been seen moving quickly out of sight, always just at the edge of vision. People have described the figure as unsettling, with the sense that it's observing them from the shadows. Though it's usually harmless, its presence is often accompanied by cold drafts or an eerie feeling that chills those who witness it. Lights in the Kansas City Public Library are known to flicker or turn off unexpectedly, especially in the basement and in less frequently used areas. This is often attributed to the spirits of former employees or patrons who may still be lingering in the building. The basement, with its older architecture and lingering sense of the building's past as a bank, is particularly known for strange electrical disturbances and odd sensations of being watched. But one of the most well-known ghost stories about the Kansas City Library centers around the old bank vault, which remains in the building even though it no longer serves its original purpose. Today, it's used to screen movies. Staff members have reported strange occurrences in and around the vault, including unexplained noises like faint whispers, footsteps, and the feeling of being watched. The heavy door of the vault sometimes will move slightly on its own, even though it's supposed to be locked in place. Given that the Kansas City Public Library's origin is as a bank, some speculate that the ghostly activity is tied to the building's past occupants. Banks often attract intense emotions, fear, greed, desperation, especially during times of economic hardship such as the Great Depression. It's possible that some of the supernatural encounters are connected to the incidents from this era or even earlier. Our final stop in haunted downtown Kansas City, Missouri is the Kansas City Club. This is a historic building with a rich history and its share of eerie ghost stories. The club, originally established in 1882 as a social club for the city's elite businessmen, moved here on Baltimore Avenue in 1922. With over a century of history, the Kansas City Club has seen countless members, events, and even periods of decline, all of which contribute to the tales of paranormal activity in the building. One of the most frequently reported ghost sightings at the Kansas City Club involves a mysterious figure seen in the grand ballroom on the top of the building. According to legend, this ghost is dressed in a formal, old-fashioned attire, likely a tuxedo or even a suit, and is often seen walking through the ballroom or standing in a corner as though waiting for an event that never ends. People have encountered this ghost say he has a sad or very reflective demeanor, as if he's still attending a party from years past. Some say he's the spirit of a former member who passed away but still lingers, eternally connected to the social life of the club. And then we have the Kansas City Club's Haunted Bar, which is another area for hotspot for ghostly activities. Staff members who have worked late shifts or cleaned up after events have reported strange occurrences, such as bottles moving on their own, glasses clinking with no one around, and the sound of faint laughter or conversation as if a long-gone crowd has still gathered at the bar. One particularly famous story involves a bartender who reportedly has several strange encounters in the bar area, including the sensation of being tapped on the shoulder when no one else was around. But one of the creepiest stories involves a mysterious woman who has been seen in the mirrors throughout the building, especially in the restrooms and hallways. This figure, often described as a lady in a long dress from the early 20th century, appears briefly in the mirror's reflection, only to disappear when people turn back to look. Some speculate that she could have been a guest or someone connected to the club in its early years, perhaps a wife or maybe a companion of one of the members. The lady in the mirror phenomenon is particularly unnerving to those who experience it, as it seems to happen when the building is quiet or when people are alone, making the encounter feel even more personal and ghostly. Now that you have seen 4 of the most haunted places in downtown Kansas City, remember that there was a twist in our stories. 3 of these locations are genuinely haunted, but one is a tale that was crafted by us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. Can you figure out which one of these locations we made up and which 3 are real? Remember, we saw the Folly Theater, the Midland Theatre, the Kansas City Public Library, and the Kansas City Club. We'll pause here for just a moment and let you figure out which one of these is a story created by us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. If you guessed the haunted tale was the Kansas City Public Library, then you were correct. This is the one tale that was made by us here at Wandering Walks of Wonder. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.